Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial, and welcome to our live stream with my two special guests, Adam from What the Gym, or Jim
Hello,
Withers, I guess.
Jim
I did
Withers.
not
Yeah.
realize that. And also Bryer from Bryer's Music Showcase. Uh, yeah, so this was an idea that I kind of had with Adam and Bryer in mind, kind of a album exchange. Where we kind of recommend a album to the other two members and review it. I'll listen to it and review it, I guess, and kind of give our thoughts on. So the three kind of just random albums. We each recommend an album to the other two. So we're kind of going to review all three albums and give our thoughts um, on what we think of these three albums. So I don't know. To me, it was kind of a fun way of trying to introduce new music to other people that like music,
Yeah.
and just not talk about just the old classics. Like we do talk about the classics, a lot, but I thought it was an idea of like, let's bring together some albums maybe we haven't really reviewed, on any of our channels, that we're part of. But yeah, so I guess first introduce Adam. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty great. I'm pretty excited for this. Talk about albums from three different decades,
Yeah,
60s, 70s, and 90s. Yeah.
yeah, we got them all here. Is there anything special happening in England since this is the 60th anniversary of the Beatles? And you guys don't care. It's more of an American thing, I suppose, because we're celebrating. I'm celebrating it because I'm in America, or
Yeah.
like the Beatles came to America.
I
Yeah, I
don't
know
think it was.
you did that live stream. And I happened to show up the second Queen was mentioned.
Yes, as always, like magic.
Yeah, it wasn't really celebrated here
Yeah,
in
I guess
the
not.
UK.
I've been watching Beatles stuff all day yesterday and today. I've just been watching Beatles stuff. Anyway, so great export of England, the Beatles. Anyways,
Yeah.
I just have to mention that because I've just been thinking about them a lot lately. And then we got Bryer. How are you doing, Bryer?
Yes, I'm doing pretty good. Just a nice quiet morning here in California. Well, not morning anymore, but it just turned noon. So
Yeah, just turned in.
just barely peeking out into the afternoon. But yeah, I've definitely been looking forward to this. I've seen other people do something similar to it, and it seems a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's been cool to experience some stuff maybe I haven't heard before, and just being more open to stuff. And yeah, it was fun, kind of fun to kind of go through some of these here that I haven't heard before. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and I especially like deal with Adam and Bryer because I feel like Adam and Bryer are pretty good, willing to listen to new stuff, and
Mhm.
and that's always not the case with some people. They don't want to try new stuff, so I appreciate Adam Bryer willing to do this. Yeah, so we got three albums. First album we're going to talk about was brought to us by Adam, and it is an album called "Just as I Am" by Bill Withers.
That's the one.
Came out in
Yeah.
1971, and it was his debut album, which I thought was interesting.
Mhm.
So I guess go first to Adam to talk about why he chose this album and what he thinks about it.
Well, I wanted us to review this album for a while, and I thought this is perfect time to do it.
Yeah.
To my top 30 albums of all time. It's one of my favorite debut albums as well. So I'll just get to it with give my thoughts on it.
Yeah, give your thoughts of what you think.
Yep. Well, it's obviously an album I think that's fantastic. It starts off really amazing with the song Harlem. It's one of my favorite songs on the album, and of course you've got the hit on the album, Ain't No Sunshine.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite Bill Withers song, actually. And it's not a very long song either. It's only it's only a couple of minutes.
Yeah, a lot of these songs are pretty short.
It's a short album, yeah.
Yes, it's quite a short album. Then you got the song Grandma's Hands, which I think is really great, and Sweet Winomi, I think it's really good as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does a cover of the Harry Nilsson song, Everybody's Talking.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. It does, it's a very different version
Hmm.
to it as well. I really like his version of it. And then the first side ends with the song Do It Good, which I think is a pretty great song, but it's not one of the more memorable songs in the album. And the second side, you got the song Hope She'll Be Happier, which is probably my favourite deep cut off the album. It's one of my favourite songs from the album. And then you got the cover of Let It Be, of course, by the Beatles.
Hmm.
But it's nowhere near as good as the Beatles version, but I still love his version as well.
No, it's different.
Yeah.
It's very different, yeah. And then you got the song I'm a Daddy, another pretty great one, but not one of the standouts though. And then you got the song In My Heart, which was close to being in my top 5 songs from the album. Then you got the song Moaning and Groaning, which I think is pretty great. And you end it with the album with the song Better Off Dead, which I think is really good as well. But I'm now moving on to the top 5 songs in the album. On number 5, Everybody's Talking. 4, Let It Be. 3 have gone with the first track, Harlan. 2 have gone with Hope She'll Be Happier. And my favourite's Ain't No Sunshine.
Yeah.
And as far as an album rating, it's, well, to me, and this is my top 50 albums, it's a 10 out of 10.
I would say it's
10
probably
out of 10 album for me, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know you. This is I feel like you brought Bill Withers up before on your channel, more than me or Bryer. I don't know if Bryer's ever talked about him. I've never talked about Bill Withers. I've never heard. I don't know any of the other people's.
This is definitely my favorite album of his.
Yeah, like I don't remember Scott or Nick talking about him, or So Adam's definitely the one that's like been the one talking about Bill Withers. I hear mostly about Bill Withers through Adam. So I know this is definitely one that you would definitely love to share. His debut album, and this is probably his. I don't know. I don't know much about his other albums, but I'm guessing it's probably his best album or strongest album.
Yeah, I'd definitely say so.
Okay, which is interesting. I mean, to come right out of the gate on your debut album like that. I don't know how many he made at the point. Like I said, I don't know a lot about Bill Withers. Just Ain't No Sunshine is the big hit I remember on the radio.
He made quite a few albums.
Okay.
In the 1970s.
In the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I know his career wasn't that long. He kind of retired.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Very, very short. Like I think it was like 10. I don't know how long, but it was not that long. He kind of like, I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite a short discography.
Ain't No Sunshine. That's the biggest one, right? I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
That's his signature song, I would say.
Mm.
One of his, yeah.
One of his.
I'll probably go with that or Lean on Me.
I was wondering, did he do Lean on Me?
Yeah, he did.
I thought he might have.
That was from his second album.
Okay, though Ben King also made it famous, right? Am I thinking right?
I'm not familiar with his version.
Okay.
No.
Am I getting people mixed up?
Maybe you think of Stand By Me.
Oh, Stand By. That's what
there we go. That was it.
That's it. Stand By Me. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay, so Lean on Me. Okay.
Yeah.
Lean on me when I'm not strong.
Yeah, that's
it. So that's Bill Withers. Okay.
Yeah.
Ben King's Stand By. I don't know. They seem similar. I'm having a hard time.
Just think of the John Lennon version.
I never thought of them both be that similar.
Yeah, I know. That's why I got mixed up.
They are quite similar.
I mean, they have On Me at the end, in the title.
Yes. Yeah, Lean on Me's a great song though. That's okay. I know that one then. Okay. All right, Bryer, what are your thoughts? Have you heard this album before?
I have not the whole album. Like I do know Bill Withers. I've known him for a bit. I do have a greatest hits of his stuff. I didn't pull it out, but
okay.
For a long time, I haven't had that greatest hits for that long. It's more like have for like maybe a couple months now. And I enjoyed a lot of his hits. I mean, like Lean on Me is probably my favorite of his.
Okay.
So just like the lyrics to that one. But yeah, never really dove deep into a full album. So I was pretty looking forward to giving this a go. And overall, yeah, very enjoyable. Really good stuff here. I mean, of course you have the big hits, but you also have some really nice deep cuts that I haven't heard before. So you have Harlem, which is this really good opening song. I just love how there's like this constant build up. It's like almost like it keeps building tension throughout the whole thing. It keeps going higher and higher. And I love how the strings in it as well just kind of come in this one. So I think that's a great one. And then of course you have the big hits. Of course, Ain't No Sunshine, which is a classic. So don't have much else to add to it, but it's a classic for a reason. Good rhythm to it as well. And the strings again. Grandma's Hands, another great follow-up song. Has a really good groove to it. The bass playing on it is pretty great throughout this whole album, and it's a nice guitar as well, providing a nice good texture here. Sweet Wanomi, another really good deep cuts. Again, like the guitar, bass, and the keyboards on here really give a nice groove. Everybody's Talking, solid cover. It's not one of my favorites, but still not too bad. Do It Good. Nice way to close out the first side. Very folky. There's a really nice drum rhythm here, and the keyboard playing was good. It was kind of weird though. In that song, there's like a whole spoken word thing in the middle of that song, which kind of threw me off. But yeah, but it's all right. All right, didn't mind it too much. I do agree with Adam. I think Hope She'll Be Happier is a really nice deep cut. Really nice one. I like the sound of the guitars, the keyboards just add great texture. And throughout the whole album, I think Bill has really nice voice. Definitely adds the emotion. Let It Be, the cover, the Beatles cover. It's fine. I liked it, but it's my favorite Beatles song, so I'm gonna be a little harsher with it. So
Yeah.
But I appreciate it. I do like how he made it more of a gospel sort of soul type of track. But it's good. I did like it. I'm Her Daddy. I like the bongos or congas on this one. Nice slow intro, nice groove. In My Heart, another really nice one. Moaning and Groaning. Yeah, Moaning and Groaning. What a title that is. Yeah. But another groovy track. I was kind of surprised. You have the song Better Off Dead, kind of a downer way to kind of close out the album.
Yeah, it is a really good song, but
yeah, it's a good song.
It's definitely a downer.
Yeah, especially when you hear the gunshot at the end. I was like, whoa, what just happened there? But still, good percussion in it. Get another good bass play, good bass line throughout the track. So yeah, and I'll also give my top 5 as well. Number 5 is Grandma's Hands. Number 4, Sweet Wanomi. Number 3, Harlem. Number 2, Ain't No Sunshine, surprisingly. But number 1 is going to be Hope She'll Be Happier.
Okay.
And as a score, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Very good stuff here. Very happy to actually sit down and hear a whole album of his, because now I'm curious. I definitely do want to check out more of his albums now.
Yeah, I guess he was in the bad part of Harlem, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Gunshot.
Probably.
Harlem, New York, I'm guessing. All right, yeah. So I've never heard this album before. I've heard Adam talk about it. Like I said, I remember him, giving it really high. When I don't know if he did some kind of ranking. Yeah, he ranked it real high. Maybe number 1 or something. I can't remember. He ranked it real high, probably in 1971, I guess. And I remember going, Bill Withers. Like, I don't know Bill Withers. So I was like, kind of like, that's interesting. Like, that's an artist we don't really talk about. Like I said, anyway. So this definitely was a new experience. Obviously, my first thought was Ain't No Sunshine. Obviously, it was a huge hit on the radio. I grew up listening to that song. Obviously, it's a great song. When I think of Bill Withers, I think of this song. Now you said Lean on Me. That's another great one. So I'll think of that too. Those are probably 2 big signature songs for him. I've described this album as soul and R&B, maybe.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of soul, R&B, maybe a little bit of folk in there as well.
Folk you can throw in there as well. Definitely very, because I was listening going, how do I describe this music? It's not the style of music I usually listen to. And soul was the best description. I guess when I came out of it, I'm like, I guess I'd call this soul. He has a real soulful voice. It's, he has a really good voice, of course. He's the the highlight of the album is his voice, I think.
Yeah.
One of those things. Um, yeah, so going through it, of course, my first thought was just like, this is definitely not my genre that I listen to. So it was definitely new to me, kind of going through it and going, this isn't exactly like the music I listen to. But really good stuff here. I think Harlem's a good opener. I think we all agree on that.
Mhm.
Definitely a really good song. Yeah, and I wrote down how Hope She'll Be Happier. I thought was really good. Like, I think maybe some of his best vocal work on the album.
Mhm.
Everybody's talking. That was interesting, because I'm used to Harry Nilsson's like high voice on,
Yeah.
and hear him. He doesn't sing high at all. He has more of mid voice, I guess. He doesn't really hit high notes or anything, but still it was pretty good. I think it was a good cover. Um, Sweet Winona I thought was really good. Like that was one of my favorites on the album. I like the acoustic guitar on it, maybe a little more folk to it, and I thought it had a really good melody to it. Uh, yeah, it was a real catchy kind of song to me. Let It Be, I liked it because I mean, definitely the Beatles version is definitely the better version. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
beat that because the Beatles version is more of a slow ballad,
Mhm.
piano ballad.
Yeah.
Uh, his version is acoustic guitar, and there's like some kind of maraca thing going on, and an organ. There's like an organ, I think, in the background, and so he definitely turned into up. It's more upbeat than the Beatles version, and like Ryan said, I was gonna say the same thing. When Bryer said it. It was more gospel like,
Mhm.
but I feel like that song works well as a gospel song, so actually fits his style
Mhm.
uh,
Hmm.
really well. As it's obviously really great when the Beatles do it as a ballad, but he does it very well, I think, as a upbeat gospel, whatever. Anyway, so those are some songs I kind of picked out. Like, uh, yeah, so it's interesting. It's an album that I need to listen to more, I think, to get into it, because, like I said, it's definitely I don't listen to soul music that much, if at all, or R&B music. It's like I'm more pop and rock and folk music, whatever. But yeah, overall I think good album. uh I did a top three, though. I would say, like I said, my Harlem and Hope She'll Be Happier definitely or be like in my top five, I
Yeah.
think. I wanted to mention, I guess, some things about this album. Like I said, and I didn't write it down, but I looked it up, and I mean, it did really well. I think it might have been number one, like in R&B or soul charts or something like that. Or uh it's funny. I think Grant, what was it, Grandma's Hands or something like that, was like a single that came out off of it
Yeah, I think so.
and
Yeah.
did pretty well in the R&B charts or whatever. And when they did Ain't No Sunshine, it was the B side, and the A side was Harlem, I think. And the disc jockeys are like, no, Ain't No Sunshine is the better song. We're playing this on the radio. So it's funny how Ain't No Sunshine was like the B side, but it really became like the big hit off the
Mm.
album. And I can't remember if it went number one or something. I don't know. It did pretty well, if I remember right. Maybe not number one, but it did pretty well as a single, if I remember right. And Bill Withers was working in a factory making bathrooms for airplanes. That was
Mm.
his job. And then he comes out with this album, and of course, comes a pretty big hit. And I'm guessing he didn't have to do that job anymore. But
Well, yeah, I think because he was doing that, he was having that job when he was still making the album.
yes, that's the crazy thing. When I read it, I was like, here he has this. I don't know how he got into this album, because then it's like I'm sure the album blew up somewhat, and here he is working in the factory, and as a day job. And they gave the record company gave him a golden a toilet seat as a
Mm.
like celebration, I guess, of his album. I thought it was pretty funny. So that's just kind of interesting. Like, so the guy came from like very probably uh, blue collar, work, kind of guy, and then all of a sudden now he's a famous singer, which is just crazy to think of. Um, but yeah, so number three, I have Let It Be. Like I said, I think actually it's a pretty good cover. I agree, Bryer, the original is much better, but
Yeah.
I like that he did something different and made it its own, I guess. So I
Mhm.
kind of enjoyed it. Number two, I have Sweet Winona. Like I said, I thought that was maybe my favorite hidden gem on the album. That I didn't know this song, and then I was like really came away going, man, I really like that Sweet Winona song. It was real catchy, and yeah. Real good melody to it. And then number one, it has to be "Ain't No Sunshine."
Yeah.
Bryer didn't. I guess I was gonna say Bryer didn't have it number one, so I guess
No.
I can't unanimous, but I think most people would probably put it there. I just love that. Yeah, that the way it starts and how his voice comes in, it's so great. And he does this. I know, I know, I know, I
Yeah,
know.
he does it about 25, 26
26
times.
times.
Yeah,
Yes, 26 times. And he
I
does
know.
the I know.
I know.
And he said to somebody after he made it, he said, "Is that too many times?" And they said, "No, we love it. Keep the 26 times." Which I think it's kind of cool. It's like an interesting, you listen to it, you go, "Well, how many times he's gonna say, I know," but he builds it up, and yeah, it's great. It's definitely one of his best, in my opinion. See, nobody does the Beatles song better than the Beatles do. Pretty true.
Yeah,
The
that is true.
only person that comes close is probably Cocker.
Joe Cocker, yeah.
Cocker.
Yeah.
Barry Gordy was working at GM, I think, before he started Motown Records. Makes sense.
Okay.
He was in that area. But I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. So maybe a little, still, I think a solid album. Alex said,
we went to 10, 9, 8.
yeah, 10, 9, 8.
Yeah.
So I still think it's a good album. It's just not my style, maybe, makes me go to 8 instead of you guys going 9, 10, but still really cool to listen to and get to know more Bill Withers. Anyway, so yeah. Something definitely new for us. All right, so our second album is brought to us by, of course, by the one Californian that we have in the group. Brings this album, if you can believe your eyes and ears, by the Mamas and Papas, which came out in 1966. So it's our earliest album in our group. And I guess, Bryer, why did you choose this one?
All right, so funny story about this was because I think I originally had a different Mamas and the Papas album in mind, but
Yes.
I think there was an issue with, because I originally wanted to do their second album, which I have right there as well, but I guess it's not available where Adam's at. So,
but actually, I found it now.
oh, you found it.
So you could choose that next
So
time if you want.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, maybe. But regardless, I wasn't complaining too much because I've said that this is probably my favorite of the Mamas and Papas albums. They only released 5, so it's not a big discography. And quick shout out to Nick. Me and him did a whole series on them, going through every album. That was fun. That was an enjoyable one. They have a pretty good catalog. But yeah, this is still my favorite. I think a lot of big hits on here, and I really like some of the deep cuts here as well. Just one of the really great pop bands of the mid 60s, and of course some of the great harmonies during that time as well. You have John Phillips, Denny Doherty, Mama Cass Elliott, of course, and Michelle Phillips. Just create this like great blend into their sound, this great blend of folk, bit of pop, a little bit of soul, but it just comes together, just sounds really great. So quickly go over my review here. So of course it already starts off with one of their big hits with Monday. Went to number 1 for a reason. I heard it took them 20 minutes to write this, and it still sounds it's incredible. Just the great harmonies to get starting off, just a great song to start their career with, just pretty much sums them up. And the orchestration as well. Straight Shooter, kind of a more rocking type of song, but great guitar and bass on here, kind of a spicy little number. Then you have got a feeling, just a song about a bad relationship, which is kind of foreshadowing of what would come with them. But nice slower track, great harmonies in that one as well. And another pretty well-known song that they did, it's actually a cover with "I Call Your Name," which was originally a Beatles song.
Yeah.
And you have Mama Cass singing this one, and yeah, I think she does a good job on it.
Not a well-known Beatles song, to be honest, but
yeah, exactly. I guess that's why people usually associate with the song with Cass.
Yeah.
But it's a great cover, and I think there's a cool drum rhythm to it, the harmonica, and how Cass is whispering John at certain points, like she's
Mhm.
just trying to, I don't know, calling out to John or something. I don't know. But then you have Do You Want to Dance, which is another cover, and one of my favorites on the album. I just really love the more slower type of track, very pretty sounding, and I love Denny's vocals on it. And of course, you have the backing vocals creating this very lush, kind of lush sort of sound with a little orchestration to it. So that's always been a standout. Then you have another one of their hits, Go Where You Want to Go, which was, I think, their first single. Took them didn't quite get as big, but it was kind of released limitedly. But still pretty well known song from them. Good upbeat, catchy song. And of course, the next song goes without saying, needs no introduction. It's my theme song. It's of course California Dreamin'.
Right, Bryer's theme.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
It's always been it will always be my favorite song by them. Just when you think of Mamas and the Papas, this is usually the first song that pops up.
Do you remember when you heard the song? Did you hear it, or?
I don't remember how I heard it. It just like, I don't know. I guess it's in my DNA. It's in my DNA or something. And you're born and raised here,
right?
But it just has all the good call and response with the male singers, and then the female singers followed up. Yeah, and I love Denny's little solo bit especially when he puts more grit into the vocals, and the flute solo, and it's just a perfect 60s pop song. Spanish Harlem, nice, more chiller song with good percussion, some nice violins here as well. Somebody Groovy, another very good song I liked. Hey Girl. Not much to say with a lot of these songs on the second half, because I will admit the second half is kind of where it doesn't have some of the big hits or anything. It's more just very pleasant, very well crafted songs here. Same can be said with Hey Girl. Has a nice little bass intro in that one. You Baby, another cover with a cool guitar intro. And it closes out with The In Crowd, another cover. But yeah, Cass singing lead vocals. And kind of nice way to close out the album. So enjoyable stuff. So top 5 songs is I Call Your Name. Number 4, Go Where You Want to Go. Number 3, Monday Monday. Number 2, Do You Want to Dance? And number 1, California Dreamin'. Duh. And for an album rating, even though I did say that the side 2 doesn't have some of the more heavy hitters, it's still enjoyable. So I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10. It's one of my favorites. One of my favorite albums of the 60s.
Okay.
Nice.
I got Dr. Winston Opoogie.
Hello,
Winston.
He says that Phillips was a great songwriter and vocal arranger early in their career. I was gonna say, looking at the list, it seemed like there's obviously a mixture of cover songs and originals on here.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the originals, Phillips was the main songwriter, maybe.
Usually, he was the one.
It would say sometimes it's John and Michelle or something like that.
Sometimes John Michelle, occasionally Denny will contribute, but mostly it was John.
Yeah, so it makes me think Phillips was like the main songwriter of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's John on the album cover?
Yeah, which one's?
He's on the far. He's right there.
Right.
The one in the blue, purple, something shirt.
One plays a guitar, and one wears like the. That might be the same person.
Yeah, that's John.
That's John. Yeah, John, Denny, Michelle, and
Cass.
Yeah, Cass. Yeah. Keith says, "Red Mama Cass had a crush on John Lennon."
She had a crush on a lot of people.
I was gonna say the same thing. I've heard a lot of things about her having crushes on people. I think she might even had a crush on people in the band. I don't know.
Yeah, she had a crush on Denny, which caused this whole love rectangle, whatever.
I heard.
And that's what kind of pretty much caused their breakup.
Okay, I thought something like that. I want to point out 2 things I've read. One, that the cover is controversial.
Yes, because it has a toilet on the cover. And actually, I can get the record because
it doesn't have it.
It has.
What has it got an X on the toilet?
Yeah, they kind of block out the toilet with this thing here.
Still know it's there though.
Yeah, you can still kind of see it, but you don't see the actual bowl
Right.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, of course, I heard the uncensored version on record is more expensive and more rare. So when you get a record, you're mostly going to see that one. But on the CD, they uncensor it. So there you go.
Yeah.
It's quite a clean toilet as well.
Yeah.
You know, that was the 60s. No toilets allowed on anything.
Yeah. Yeah. TV shows, movies, you couldn't have a toilet.
Mm-hmm.
And I read that something like they didn't spell out the moms and papas right or something like that.
No, I might be because they have apostrophes here. And you normally don't see apostrophes in their name.
Okay, maybe that was it. I couldn't quite figure out, but I read something like they did something wrong with the title, but they kept it. So, and all the reviews, they never corrected it. So I thought that was interesting. Anyways, all right, Adam, have you heard this album before, or what do you think?
I never heard it before. I never heard any Mamas and Papas album.
Okay.
But I've listened to this. I think I will listen to their whole discography.
Yeah.
They've only got a few albums, quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll probably do a live stream ranking their albums at some point.
Cool.
But yeah, I thought it was a fantastic debut. It starts off brilliantly with Monday, with Monday. I can't believe they wrote it in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got the song Straight Shooter, which I think was really good. And Got the Feelings really good as well. And then you got the Beatles cover of I Call Your Name, which I think I like their version just as much as the Beatles version. And then you got the song Do You Want to Dance, which is actually my favourite song on the album.
Oh, nice.
It's my favourite version of Do You Want to Dance. I love the harmonies in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got fantastic instrumentation as well. The album ends really well with Go Where You Want to Go. And they're one of my favourite tracks on the album.
Mm-hmm.
Side 2 of California Dreaming. It's a classic 60s song. One of the best songs on the album. The rest of the second side isn't as strong as the first side or California Dreaming, but it's still really good. You've got Spanish Harlem and some really groovy. Hey Girl, which is probably my least favorite track on the album. It's either that or Somebody Groovy. I think you got 2 covers to end the album with, and that's You Baby and the In Crowd. I'll get to my top 5 songs. So number 5 is Go Where You Want to Go. 4 is I Call Your Name. 3 is Monday. 2 is California Dreaming, and 1's Do You Want to Dance. So I've got the same 5 as you, Bryer. Just a different order.
Yeah, just in different order. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
For my rating, I'm going to give it a 9.25 out of 10.
Okay.
Right.
It might even go higher if I listen to it again.
Awesome. Yeah, so I actually heard this album once before because I believe Bryer brought it to our 1960 50 essential albums list that we did on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first time I ever heard the album. I didn't know the album at all until Bryer brought it up, and then I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know this was a Moms and Papas album. And I know Nick loves this album as well. He talks about it a lot. So, yeah, and I know Nick and Bryer did the album in their whole Moms and Papas. That was like the first maybe thing you guys did together. I can't remember.
It was actually the Birds first.
Oh, you did the Birds. Okay.
We did the Birds and then the Mamas and the Papas.
Yeah. So it was early kind of in your album. I say early. I guess you're still maybe early. I don't know.
I don't know.
You're on Black Sabbath now. I don't know if that's your third.
We've definitely gone up.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when obviously I've always been a fan of Moms and Papas. Of course, Monday and California Dreaming to me are the 2 biggest songs in their whole discography. Like those songs are on the radio all the time growing up. So I absolutely always loved those 2 songs. Definitely been always will be my favorite, like Moms and Papas songs. Like most people, those are to me like the 2 essential, songs, signature songs of the group and originals that they wrote. I believe Phillips wrote them both. Yeah, and so getting to this, I'm like, yeah, of course, I assumed I would like it because I love their sound. You got the 2 girls, 2 guys, you got good harmonies there. I think Mama Cass is probably my favorite out of the group as far as vocalist. I always
Mm-hmm.
thought she was a very strong singer,
Yeah.
and she could have gone solo, and maybe she did, and then she died, of course, and
Yeah, she did.
too young, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what she could have done, um, you know. So yeah, so when Bryer brought this up in our exchange, I eventually got to it because I was like, okay, I need to listen to these albums. It's funny, I picked 25 albums out of our, because we covered 150 albums, I think, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And I picked out 25 albums I hadn't listened to before. And to be honest, like half of them are probably albums Bryer brought to us, because he brought a lot of albums I was not familiar with at all.
Mm-hmm.
And this was one of them. And this was like I did a ranking of 25, and this was in my top 5 favorite new albums that I listened to out of that group. Anyway, so now of course, so I was kind of familiar with this. Coming back to this again, of course, you guys talked about it. It was a number 1 hit as well in the U.S. So I mean, and I can't imagine there's an album bigger than this, because you have their 2 big hits on it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that really makes the album great, because you got the 2 big hits here. I mean, so it's like I can't imagine the other albums can come close, because I'm like, you already blew your load on this first album. It felt like I don't know where else.
They've gone all out with it with a debut.
Yeah, I mean, I know you have rock and roll music, bump bump a bump. That's a good song. There's a couple of good hits after this, I'm guessing, but
Yeah.
But this is definitely 2 big ones. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, you start with Monday. I've always loved that song. That Monday, da, 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 the background vocals, so good. And then that every Monday comes crying all of the time. Monday, like that transition. Oh, it's so good. And love that. Like I said, it was the only number 1 hit, which surprised me in the U.S. anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume they had more, but I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, definitely why I really like that song. Well, so you had side 1 begin with Monday, and you end with Go Where You Want to Go. So I was like, what a great open closer to that side 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then you open side 2 with California Dreamin'. So I'm like, I love when you do that. Open close with your best songs. I always enjoy that. So I thought they did a really good job sequencing there. California Dreamin', yeah, we can say it's a classic. I mean, it's maybe the most well-known. And what I read was Phillips wrote it because they were in New York City and it was like cold, and they wanted to go back to California. So, which I can understand if you're from California and you're used to that warm weather. When you go somewhere else, you're probably so yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. But man, that's so good. So catchy. Yeah, Go Where You Want to Go. I love that song too. That's like I didn't remember that song until when I first heard the album. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot this song existed, and I was like, yeah, this is a really good catchy number. Yeah, so 3 really good songs here, 3 really good kind of hits here. After that, I would say it definitely drops off as far as like quality and stuff like that. Though I wrote down "I Call Your Name," I thought was pretty good cover. "Do You Want to Dance?" I wrote down was a good cover song. I know Nick really likes that cover song. And then I wrote down "Spanish Harlem." It's another cover song they did, which I like that song as well. Anyway, so they do some good covers here. Anyways, I say after those 3 big ones, though, I wish there was more stuff, but still, it's a solid album because they have a great sound, great harmonies. I guess you described this. I was trying to think, how do you describe this? I feel like they describe it as folk rock kind of genre.
Folk rock. Another term they used was sunshine pop. It kind of has this very happy, bright sounding thing to it.
Yeah. So it's kind of that era because you have the harmonies and everything. You do have a little guitar in there, which sometimes provides a little bit of rock in there. Like I said, but yeah, overall, yeah. So, anyways, like I said, my honorable mentions is "I Call Your Name," "Do You Want to Dance?" to Spanish Harlem. Top 3, number 3, I went with "Go Where You Want to Go." Like I said, great catchy song, great pop song. Number 2, I went with "California Dreamin'." I mean, it has to be in there. And then number one, I went with Monday Monday. That's my favorite Mamas and Papas song, though it's very close. I mean, Monday Monday and California Dreaming are like tied for first. I mean, they're both just absolutely fantastic.
We've all got a different favorite song from the album.
We did.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I'm the only one that has Monday Monday, their number one, but I don't know. I just really love that.
It's a really catchy song.
It's hard to go to. Interesting. Don't you want to dance? That's a good song though. Anyways, but yeah, overall I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, and so I'm still saying it's a very solid album. I still really like it. Yeah, like I said, I think after the big three, there's like not another recognizable number, maybe. So I have it a little bit lower, but still think it's really good overall. And I should say, like, Just As I Am was in the Rolling Stones 500 Great Albums, at least the 2020 version. And this, if you can believe your eyes and ears, is also like in the hundreds in Rolling Stones. So both were, like I said, very well thought of albums, I think. Good albums to listen to and recommend. Let's see. Keith says, I like the Turtles version of You Baby more, but they do a good job on their versions. I don't know the Turtles version.
No, I don't know the Turtles version either.
I haven't listened to many Turtles. I need to listen to them.
I've not heard any Turtles album.
Me either.
A few of their songs.
I only know one song.
Yeah, I know a couple songs, and that's about it. The Fifth Dimension do a great recording of Go Where You Want to Go. Okay, I can see that. Fifth Dimension could do a good job with that. They also did I think they did one on, I was reading about them doing a hit off of like, maybe it was Bill Withers too. I think maybe they did one of his songs. I remember reading something. Maybe Harlem or something like that. They did a version.
Maybe.
And I Saw Her Again are great later songs.
Yeah, those are good ones. I Saw Her Again's on the second album.
I Saw Her Again. Is that?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, I know that song. Yes. So interesting. You guys picked debut albums on your on your list, and those are probably their best albums. Maybe is their debuts, which is very interesting.
I know Nick likes the second album more.
Okay.
Yeah.
I say that doesn't always work out that way, but
it's your turn now, Jason.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Your album.
And I don't have this album at the moment, though I did own this album at one time. I will say, yes. And this is "Recovering the Satellites" by the Counting Crows, which came out in 1996. So I'm bringing this is a band from my childhood, kind of. That's why I wanted to bring it, and a very significant album to me personally, because this was the second album that I bought after I bought Oasis. What's the Story, Morning Glory, was the first album I went and bought, and loved that album. And so so this was the second album I ever bought. I bought the CD. That exact CD, that's what I bought. And I don't have any more, unfortunately. I got rid of it a long time ago. I wish I still had it, but I need to buy it again. But anyways, and the only reason I bought the CD was because of one song. And that's what I did back then. I would hear a song on the radio, like Oasis. I heard Wonderwall on the radio, and I was like, I have to get this album because I love Wonderwall. And that's why I got What's the Story, Morning Glory. Well, this is a year later, because that was 95. This is 96. And I heard the song "Long December" was a huge hit on the radio. I'm guessing towards the winter time, even. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyways, it was a huge song on the radio. And when I heard that song, I was like, this is one of my favorite songs of all time. Like I absolutely love that song, "Long December." It's a very nice piano piece, which is very unusual for the band in some ways. And I remember just going, man, I need to get this album just because of this one song. So I went to Walmart and bought the CD, and at the time I only had a couple albums. So I just poured over this album, listened to it over and over again, and absolutely loved the album. I thought it was one of my favorite albums. Anyways, and to this day, it's still one of my favorite albums. I think it still holds up as a really great album. And, in fact, I saw Counting Crows in concert, I think 2019. They came to Kansas City, and I went and saw them in concert. Anyway, so that was such a delight to go, wow, like I listened to them, like almost 30 years ago, and now I'm seeing them in concert, So that was such a delight. Brought me back to my childhood. I say I was about 13 when this album came out. So I was a young teenager at the time. Um, anyway, so that was so fun. They played 2 songs off this album. There's 2 hits on this album, really. Long December and Angels of the Silences were on the radio. Um, Definitely Long December definitely was the bigger song, but Angels of the Silences was on the radio quite a bit as well. So I knew those 2 songs, and they played them both at the concert, which was great, especially Long December. That was fantastic. The lead singer, Adam Duritz, amazing voice. One of my favorite male vocalists of all time. I absolutely love his voice. Still sounds great when I saw him in concert recently, and it was a great concert. And he's definitely looking older. He's definitely gained some weight, but it's still great. At this time, if you ever see him, he used to wear like kind of dreadlocks.
Oh.
He had a real interesting look. He's from California. He's from Berkeley, I think,
Oh, wow.
where the band started, where he grew up. Anyway, so yeah, so anyway, so yeah, this album was very big. It was #1, and when it came out in the U.S., this is their second album. So not their debut, but their second album. Their debut album was really good as well. August and Everything After, which had some of his biggest hits, like Mr. Jones was a huge song off that first album. And so they're coming off of a pretty big album with 2 or 3 big hits off that album. So they were now coming to the second album. This was 3 years after too. First album was 93, so it took about 3 years to get this album out. And so their second album coming out, this is my intro to the band. So I later listened to the first album, but I think this is my favorite album of theirs. I think a little bit better than the first album. The first album is really good as well. And it's one I listened to recently, and I'd still go, man, this is so good. Adam Durrett's voice, amazing. There, like I said, it's a mixture of rock. There's some slower songs on here. Like I said, Catapult, the opener, I think is fantastic. I remember first listening to this record, and Catapult came on. I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. This is their first song, and I love the guitar on there. I thought very catchy song, really good rock song. Durrett's is great. And there's some stuff like Daylight Fading, I think is great on here. I'm Not Sleeping. I think all the songs are really great, but the ones I wrote down was Have You Seen Me Lately? Fantastic. But I think every song, it just hits. Angels of Silences is like their best rock song on the album. I mean, it's a pretty heavy, really good guitar riff. Much heavier than anything else they did. While Long December is probably their softest song they ever did. It's the best, definitely their big ballad. They come off this. Anyways, Long December, just that piano is so beautiful. And he talks about California, I think, in that song. In fact, he said, "I'm going to California," something like that. And I can't say I can make out his lyrics. I listen to his lyrics, and I'm not sure I understand what's going on. Like,
Yep, that's how most alternative rock singers were.
like I'm trying to get some kind of meaning out of the song. I'm like, I'm not sure I understand the meaning of the song, but somebody, I always take it. I love the song because I always think of like December is the last month of the year. So, and I love the lyric. It's been a long December, and there's reason to believe maybe this year will be better than the last. I love that lyric. I think about that every December. I always think, I hope next year is better than this year. That's always my hope every December. And December does seem very long. It's cold here in the United States anyway, or in Kansas, sorry. In England, I think it's probably the same way. It's cold, it's dreary, it's depressing.
It's dark.
It's dark
outside
all the time. It's miserable sometimes in the wintertime, and you just go, man, this is a long December. And it's kind of almost like it's been a long year. And I don't know. I just love the whole sentiment behind it. There's kind of this, I don't know, what do you call it? Like I can't think of what to call it. There's an instrument in the background I absolutely love in this song. I don't know if it's an accordion or
yeah, I think it was an accordion.
Yes, there's like a really nice accordion on this. I mean, it's just fantastic. Anyways, but yeah. So yeah, to me, it's still just one of my favorite albums from the '90s period. Still today. So like I said, top 3, number 3, I put Angel of Silences. still love this rock song that goes. I mean, a lot of good guitar on here. I think they have really good rock guitar, and they sound great live too as well. I'm not sure what's about, but Angels of Silences, Over My Bed or something like that. Number 2, Catapult, I think is a fantastic opener to the album. Again, great guitar and just a real catchy song. And number 1, of course, I've been talking about this whole time for a reason, Long December. Still, I absolutely love the song. It's almost I count it as like, it's a good song during Christmas time. That's not a Christmas song. I listen during Christmas because it talks about December.
That should be a top 10 live stream Christmas songs that aren't Christmas.
Really?
I don't think we should do that.
Yes. Definitely belongs in there. But like I said, it's a beautiful ballad kind of song. Great. Love the piano on here, which you don't really hear the piano very often. But yeah, it's a fantastic song. Should have been the closer. I wish it was the closer to the album, but
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's been a great closer. So I'm giving this a 9.5 out of 10. It's just almost a perfect album for me. But anyway, so that's my thoughts. So we'll go to Adam. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was really good as well.
All right, good.
It's one of the better albums I've heard for this time period. It starts off brilliantly with Catapult and Angels of the Silence. But I think my favourite song on the third side for me is Daylight Fading.
Yeah.
And then it ends the first side with I'm Not Sleeping. And so side 2 I don't think is as strong, but it's still really good.
Yeah.
You've got Goodnight Elizabeth, another one of my favourite songs on the album. Then you've got Children in Bloom, which is really good. Then you got the track Have You Seen Me Lately, which is not one of my favourite tracks on the album, but I still really enjoy it. And then the third side, you got the song Miller's Angels, which I think is really good, and you got the song Another Horse Dreamer's Blues, which again is probably not one of my favourite tracks from the album. And then you got the title track Recovering the Satellites, which is one of my favourite songs from the album.
Yeah, it's a good song too. I didn't mention that one.
And side 4, you start off with the song Monkey, which also made it into my top 5. Mm-hmm. I thought it was quite a funny song, that one.
Hey monkey, where you been? Or something like that. Yeah.
Then you got the song Mercury, which is probably my least favourite song on the album, but I still really like it.
Yeah.
Then you got, of course, the song Along December, which is also my favourite song on the album. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you got the song Walkaways, which I do think is really good, but yeah, it should have finished the album with.
That's what I thought.
December, yeah. I get to my top 5 tracks. Number 5 is Monkey. 4 is Recovering the Satellites. 3 is Daylight Fading. 2 is Goodnight Elizabeth. And 1 is Long December.
Okay.
And I'd give the album a 9 out of 10.
Oh, cool. Great. Glad you like it. All right, Bryer, what are your thoughts? Have you heard this one before?
So I've heard of Counting Crows for a while, but yeah, I never heard a single thing from them before. So I was kind of curious. Overall, very enjoyable. I quite liked it quite a bit. So I'll quickly go through the tracks here. So Catapult starts it off, and I remember when I first heard it, I heard the Mellotron. I'm like, this sounds like so much like Strawberry Fields Forever.
It's like the 90s version of that.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because on the disc, if you take the disc out, you see the artwork. You have this like image of this thing here.
Yeah, it looks like John Lennon.
Yeah, flipping you off. Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like something he would do.
I was like, it's flipping me off.
Yep.
And they do curse. One song I think they do curse, and I was like,
I wouldn't have guessed. I wouldn't have heard. I wouldn't have known it.
I think Recovering the Satellites, they curse. I'm like, oh my gosh, like as a kid.
Yeah,
like,
I think it did once or twice on the album.
Yeah, I didn't pick up the swears.
Either.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear them. But yeah, still pretty interesting. Kind of a cool, nice way to open up the album with kind of a nice mid-tempo song. I did like the vibe of it. The guitar solo is pretty good. Sets the tone pretty well. Angels of Silence, yeah, I enjoyed that quite a bit. That was a big highlight there. Just a good rock song. The drums were a lot heavier. Guitar work was very good as well. Daylight Fading, another pretty good song. I like the piano on it. I will say though, this style of music is not something I go towards that often.
Yeah.
It's that type of music where I need to take in small doses.
I've got to be in the mood for it.
Yeah, you gotta be in the right mood for it.
What do you call
Yeah.
it? Alternative, I guess.
Yeah, alternative rock
Alternative
mainly.
rock, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I don't hate it. It's just something I like. We
Right.
just said
Right.
I need to be in the right mood for it. And it's a long album too, so it's like
I think
50 minutes.
a little too long. Like it's 14 songs, but I would have been okay if they cut out 2, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe 12 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I was thinking of. I'm Not Sleeping. Kind of a more slower song. I did like the strings on it, but I did think it went on a bit too long. I felt they could have trimmed that a bit.
Yeah.
Then you have another pretty good song. I really enjoyed Goodnight Elizabeth. I like the melody to it. The acoustic guitar was very nice. The piano towards the ends was nice touch. Children in Bloom. I really like the more heavy organ sound of it. Almost sounds like something I hear from Deep Purple almost. How it sounds, but even though it sounds nothing like Deep Purple, the song itself, but still it's kind of nice to hear it. But yeah, good rhythm to it, nice bass playing, pretty good. Have You Seen Me Lately? Another one more heavier tracks, has a much more big, like heavier riff. But you have a nice piano underneath. Miller's Angel, another one of the ballads. Again, I think it goes a bit too long for me. Could have trimmed that as well, but still, I liked the guitar playing, and the piano was still nice. Another Horse Dreamers Blues. I like the keyboard sounds. The melody was pretty good. I like the vibe of it overall. The title track, I really enjoyed the title track. Has some interesting sound effects. I guess it's with a keyboard, I think, but has a nice upbeat vibe to it, and just kind of it kind of blends to the next song, which is Monkey, which is another kind of highlight song for me. I can like that one too.
Yeah.
Again, I have no idea what they're talking about, but the piano is great.
Something to do with monkeys. Yeah.
Yeah. How many songs do I know has monkey involved
I think,
in it?
yeah, it's got something high except for Me, My Monkey.
Yeah. But definitely has a nice. I like the backing vocals in here, which is kind of funny. You don't really hear much backing vocals on here, but it was kind of nice to kind of switches things up. Yeah, it's definitely one of the shorter songs too, so it was nice. Mercury, Freddie Mercury. No, not that Mercury. This one's still not too bad. I did like the mood of it. I like the harmonica on it with the piano. Very solid song. And then we have, of course, A Long December, which, that was another highlight. I really enjoyed that one. And I brought up the accordion. That was kind of cool to hear it. And the vocals really shined here. Again, it's not my favorite vocal style, but for this song, I think it worked really well. And it has a nice finish. And I don't know, they're doing like a na 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 thing. I'm like, is that a Hey Jude reference now?
Yeah. That's
It did sound a bit like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do agree with both of you. I think it should have been a closer. I mean, it closes out with Walk Away, which is just a short acoustic track. It's okay. I think I could have done without that one.
Yeah.
It might be a Flaming Pie a bit, ending on quite the acoustic song, but it should have ended with Beautiful Night.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a bit like Flaming Pie again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my top 5 songs. Number 5, I have Catapults. Number 4, Children in Bloom. Number 3, Goodnight Elizabeth. Number 2, A Long December. And number 1, Angels of the Silence.
Angel Sciences.
Yes. Cool. So for a rating, I'm gonna give it a 7.75 out of 10, which is still a pretty decent score. When you get a 7, it's still a decent score. I did enjoy this quite a bit. There was a lot of songs I did enjoy, but again, it kind of goes back to it's kind of like what you were saying with Bill Withers. It's not really the type of music I'll go for that often, but when I'm in the right mood, then I
Okay.
usually will have a nice time. So very enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree.
I am glad I got it. I mean, it was
Okay.
cheap, but I'm glad I got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like Adam Duritz' voice really shines in this album, in my opinion. If, to me, that's a highlight of the album. Is just Adam Duritz. He just sometimes he just sings nonsense, and it's just great. I think it's just and and the guitars are really good. I think on the song, but and you mentioned piano and drums and stuff. Also, it's
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, that's great. I'm very happy you guys got to listen
yeah.
to that. Like I said,
I think we chose three excellent albums, if I do say so.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, they're all solid albums. I think I recommend anybody watching this check these three albums out. Um, yeah, you get three different genres, three different eras of music, so that's great. So at some point, we'll pick three more albums for maybe the next month.
I've got a whole list of albums to go that we should do.
Yeah, I got a list.
I got some nominee contenders right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking at my list. We'll have to wait and see what I'm going to choose next.
So we'll choose that at some point. Anyway, so this is great. I really enjoyed this. Thank you a lot to Adam and Bryer for joining me on this. And
It was fun.
Yeah.
do you have anything to plug, Adam?
Well, I've got a YouTube short premiering on Monday. It's to do with an autograph I recently bought. So I look forward to doing that.
You just put out a video ranking your favorite dwarfs from
My favorite what?
dwarfs, wasn't that it?
Oh yeah, from The Hobbit.
I was like, that's an interesting ranking. I never thought of it.
Yeah, that was quite funny.
I still need to watch that. That looked funny. Bryer, do you have anything to plug? I know we got some stuff probably going on.
Yeah, of course there's other things on other people's channels.
Yeah.
But in terms, of course, I know I'm doing on Nick's channel, I'm still doing the Black Sabbath, but I know we're also doing Fleetwood Mac at the same time. I know you're joining on the Buckingham Nicks era, so that'll be cool. Yeah. See, in terms of my channel, I do have a video coming out tomorrow. Just showing off some new stuff I got from the record store. I kind of already shared. I already shared the vinyl, but I didn't share the CDs yet. So I'm gonna save that as a surprise.
Is Counting Crows one of them?
Well, I got this last month, so.
All right.
Yeah, so it's not quite in there, but overall, but that's pretty much it. I do have other ideas in the works, but I haven't recorded them yet, so hopefully I can get that done today.
All right, awesome. Yeah, most of my stuff is on other people's channels. I feel like I have to plug because I think Tuesday we're gonna do Bayou Country,
cool,
CCR album on
Jacob's channel.
On Jacob's channel, okay. We're doing stuff on, and I think we're doing a Fleetwood Mac thing too, also as well. Probably on Nick's channel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think
we're doing the Buckingham Nicks album. So the album before Lindsay and Stevie joined.
Yeah, before they joined with the Fleetwood Mac self-titled album.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sure next weekend we're doing something else.
Before I know it, it'd be another album exchange.
Yep. We'll be doing that.
Look forward to the next one.
Yeah, I know I don't know what we're gonna be doing because we're doing the Beatles, we're doing CCR, we're doing Fleetwood Mac. I'm doing the Kinks with Nick usually on Friday, so we'll be getting that. So yeah, got a lot of stuff on my channel. I don't know. I still need to finish the last Harry Potter movie. I need to review for suggested by Bryer, I guess. Need to finish that series. And then still doing I just put out the Oscar contest this last weekend, predicting 20 different categories. If you look at my either my YouTube channel, my YouTube video that I made, or my community page. I wrote down like all the stuff you just have to message me your picks in the 20 different categories, and you can enter the contest. Anyway, so really appreciate people that did that. I've got 2 entries so far.
I might have to do an entry as well.
Yeah, you did one last year.
I think I came last on it.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only 9 last year, so we'll see what we do this year. But yeah, because we got the Oscar season coming up and not too long from now, 3-4 weeks. Of course, the Chiefs are playing Super Bowl today, so that's a big thing coming on today for me. Hopefully, Chiefs can win another Super Bowl. That'd be awesome.
Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, you want to join the album exchange? Okay. We can do that, Nick. Just be wary. I'm going to put a 90s album on there. Yes, let's go Chiefs.
Let's go.
Sports.
Anyways, so thank you everybody for watching this and for commenting in the comments, and appreciate that, and I look forward to the next one. So from Bryer and me, see you next time.
Thank you. Peace out.
Peace out.